train station was bustling with the usual early morning activity. Commuters hurried along the platforms, their steps echoing in the crisp morning air. Among them was Sarah, a woman in her early 30s with an air of quiet elegance. She stood by the platform, her soft brown eyes scanning the timetable. This was no ordinary journey for her. It was a much-needed escape from the monotony of her daily routine. The train arrived, a sleek silver serpent gliding to a halt. Sarah boarded, finding an empty seat by the window. As the train pulled away, she watched the cityscape gradually give way to the serene countryside. The rhythmic clatter of the wheels on the tracks was soothing, and she felt a sense of anticipation mixed with tranquility. As she settled into her seat, Sarah couldn't help but notice the man sitting diagonally across from her. He was absorbed in a book, his dark hair falling slightly over his forehead. There was something intriguing about him, a quiet intensity that drew her attention. She quickly averted her gaze when he looked up, catching her eye with a brief, friendly smile. The journey continued, the train cutting through fields and forests. Sarah found herself stealing glances at the man, her curiosity growing. She wondered what he was reading, what kind of life he led. There was an air of mystery about him that she found irresistible. As the hours passed, the train made several stops, passengers coming and going. Sarah noticed the man was still there, seemingly as engrossed in the journey as she was. The conductor walked through the carriage, checking tickets. When he reached the man, Sarah overheard a snippet of their conversation. "How far are you going?" the conductor asked. "All the way to the end of the line," the man replied with a smile. Sarah's curiosity was piqued. It seemed they were both on a long journey, perhaps with no clear destination in mind. She decided to break the ice. "Excuse me," she said softly. "Do you mind if I ask what you're reading?" The man looked up, his eyes meeting hers. "Of course not," he replied, his voice warm and inviting. "It's a collection of short stories by Haruki Murakami. Do you like his work?" Sarah smiled, feeling a spark of connection. "Yes, I do. His stories are so captivating, full of depth and emotion." The man closed his book, placing it on the seat beside him. "I'm James," he said, extending his hand. "Sarah," she replied, shaking his hand. "Nice to meet you, James." From that moment, a friendship began to blossom. They talked about books, music, travel, and their dreams. Sarah found herself laughing more than she had in a long time. There was an ease to their conversation, a natural flow that felt both exciting and comforting. As the day turned into evening, the train continued its journey through the ever-changing landscape. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow across the fields. Sarah and James shared stories of their lives, their hopes, and their fears. There was an undeniable chemistry between them, a connection that seemed to deepen with every passing mile. When night fell, the train was enveloped in darkness, the only light coming from the dim lamps inside the carriage. Sarah felt a growing sense of anticipation, a feeling that something significant was unfolding. She looked at James, who was gazing out the window, lost in thought. "Have you ever felt like you were exactly where you were meant to be?" she asked softly. James turned to her, his eyes reflecting the dim light. "Yes," he replied. "I feel that way right now." The moment hung in the air, filled with unspoken possibilities. Sarah's heart raced, her emotions a whirlwind of excitement and uncertainty. she realized she was developing feelings for James, feelings that went beyond friendship. But there was a lingering question. What would happen when the journey ended? The next morning, the train rolled through picturesque villages and vast, open fields. Sarah woke up, feeling refreshed and eager to continue her conversation with James. They met in the dining car for breakfast, sharing pastries and coffee as the scenery flashed by outside. "Tell me more about your travels," James said, his eyes twinkling with curiosity. "Where have you been? And where do you want to go?" Sarah smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. "I've been to a few places in Europe and Asia, but there's so much more I want to see. I dream of visiting small, hidden gems, places off the beaten path where I can truly experience the culture and connect with people." James nodded, a thoughtful expression on his face. "I feel the same way. It's the unexpected encounters and the unplanned adventures that make travel so special." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, each story and anecdote revealing more about their personalities and dreams. Sarah found herself drawn to James's passion for life and his genuine interest in her experiences. She could sense a deep connection forming, one that went beyond mere attraction. As the day wore on, they explored the train together, wandering through the various carriages and meeting fellow travelers. They shared laughter and camaraderie with others, but always found their way back to each other. There was a magnetic pull between them, an undeniable chemistry that neither could ignore. In the afternoon, they returned to their seats by the window, watching the world go by in comfortable silence. Sarah felt a sense of peace she hadn't experienced in a long time. Being with James felt natural, like finding a missing piece of herself. As evening approached, they decided to have dinner in the dining car. The ambiance was warm and inviting, with soft lighting and the gentle clinking of cutlery. They enjoyed a delicious meal, accompanied by a bottle of wine that seemed to enhance the intimacy of the moment. "I feel like I've known you for much longer than just a day," Sarah said, her voice soft and sincere. James reached across the table, taking her hand in his. "I feel the same way. There's something special about this journey, about us meeting like this." Sarah's heart skipped a beat at his words. She could see the sincerity in his eyes, feel the warmth of his touch. There was no denying the connection they shared, the budding romance that had taken root in such a short time. After dinner, they returned to their seats, the train now moving through a landscape bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. Sarah leaned her head against the window, feeling a sense of contentment and anticipation. "James," she said quietly, "what will happen when we reach our destination? Will this connection between us end with the journey?" James looked at her, his expression serious yet tender. "I don't know, Sarah, but I do know that I don't want this to end. I want to see where this takes us." Sarah's heart swelled with emotion. She knew she felt the same way, but there was still a lingering doubt, a fear of the unknown. As the train continued its journey through the night, they talked about their hopes and dreams, their fears and uncertainties. There was a sense of vulnerability, a willingness to share their innermost thoughts and feelings. The bond between them grew stronger, the chemistry undeniable. By the time the train made its next stop, they were both lost in a world of their own, a world where only they existed. Sarah felt a deep sense of connection, a feeling that she had found something truly special. But there was still one question that lingered in the back of her mind. What would happen when the journey ended? The following day, the train continued its journey, winding through breathtaking landscapes that seemed to mirror the emotions swirling within Sarah. She and James spent every moment together, sharing stories, laughter, and quiet companionship. Each passing mile brought them closer, both physically and emotionally. In the afternoon, as they sat side by side, watching the scenery blur by, James turned to Sarah with a contemplative look. "Sarah, I've been thinking a lot about what you said last night, about what happens when we reach our destination." Sarah's heart raced. She had been thinking about it too, unable to shake the feeling that their time together was limited. "And what have you decided?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. James took a deep breath, his gaze steady. "I don't want this to end. I don't want us to part ways and wonder what could have been. I want to see where this journey takes us, together." Sarah's heart soared at his words. She felt a rush of emotions, a mixture of relief, excitement, and a hint of apprehension. "I feel the same way, James, but how can we make this work? We don't even know where we're headed." James smiled, a confident glint in his eye. "That's the beauty of it, Sarah. We don't need to know. We just need to trust in this connection and take a leap of faith." As evening fell, they found themselves back in the dining car, sharing a quiet meal. There was a sense of anticipation in the air, a feeling that something significant was about to happen. They spoke of their dreams and aspirations, their words weaving a tapestry of hopes for the future. After dinner, they returned to their seats, the train now moving through a landscape bathed in the soft glow of twilight. Sarah felt a sense of peace and certainty, a feeling that she was exactly where she was meant to be. But as the train approached the next major stop, a sense of urgency gripped her. This was where James had planned to get off, where their paths were supposed to diverge. She looked at him, her heart aching at the thought of saying goodbye. "James," she said, her voice trembling with emotion, "I don't want this to end. I don't want to lose this connection we have." James reached out, taking her hand in his. "Then don't," he replied softly. "Stay with me. Let's see where this journey takes us, together." Sarah felt a surge of emotion, tears welling up in her eyes. She knew in that moment that she couldn't let him go. "Yes," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. "Yes, I'll stay with you." As the train pulled into the station, they watched passengers disembark, their own future uncertain but filled with promise. They made the decision to stay on the train, to continue their journey together, wherever it might lead. The train resumed its journey, carrying them into the unknown. Sarah felt a sense of liberation, a feeling that she had made the right choice. She looked at James, her heart full of love and hope. "Thank you for staying," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "Thank you for asking," she replied, her heart overflowing with emotion. As the train moved through the night, Sarah and James held each other, their hearts beating in unison. They knew that their journey was just beginning, that they had found something truly special. Together, they embraced the unknown, their love a beacon guiding them forward. The days and nights blurred together as the train continued its journey through ever-changing landscapes. Sarah and James settled into a comfortable routine, finding solace in each other's presence. They spent their days exploring the train, meeting new people, and sharing their thoughts and dreams. One evening, as the train rolled through a dense forest, they found themselves in the observation car, gazing at the stars. The sky was clear, and the stars seemed to shine brighter than ever, casting a magical glow over the landscape. "It's beautiful," Sarah whispered, her voice filled with wonder. James nodded, his gaze fixed on the stars. "It is, and it's even more beautiful because I'm sharing it with you." Sarah felt a surge of emotion, her heart swelling with love. She turned to James, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "James, I want you to know that this journey has been the most incredible experience of my life. Meeting you, spending this time together, it's all been so magical." James smiled, his eyes filled with tenderness. "I feel the same way, Sarah. This journey has changed me in ways I never expected, and it's all because of you." They sat in comfortable silence, their hearts connected in a way that words could not describe. The train continued its journey through the night, the rhythmic clatter of the wheels, a soothing backdrop to their thoughts. As the days passed, Sarah and James found themselves growing even closer. They shared their deepest fears and their greatest hopes, finding strength and comfort in each other's presence. There was an unspoken understanding between them, a bond that went beyond words. One afternoon, as the train wound its way through a picturesque valley, they found a quiet corner in the lounge car. James took Sarah's hand, his expression serious, yet filled with love. "Sarah, I know we don't know where this journey will end, but I want you to know that I'm committed to seeing it through with you. No matter what happens, I want us to face it together." Sarah felt tears welling up in her eyes. She squeezed his hand, her heart overflowing with emotion. "James, I feel the same way. This journey has been more than I ever imagined, and I can't imagine it without you." They embraced, their hearts beating in unison. They knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. Their love was a beacon, guiding them through the unknown. As the train approached its final destination, Sarah and James felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. They had spent weeks together, forging a bond that felt unbreakable. But now, as the journey neared its end, they were faced with the reality of their future. The train pulled into the station, and they disembarked, hand in hand. The bustling city greeted them with its noise and activity, a stark contrast to the tranquility of their journey. They looked at each other, their hearts filled with a mixture of anticipation and uncertainty. "Sarah," James said softly, "I know this is the end of our train journey, but it's not the end of our journey together. I want us to continue this adventure, to see where it takes us." Sarah smiled, her eyes shining with love. "I want that too, James. Our journey is just beginning." They left the station, stepping into the unknown with confidence and hope. They knew that their love was strong enough to face any challenge, that their connection was unbreakable. Together, they embraced the future, ready to see where their journey would lead. As they walked through the city, hand in hand, they felt a sense of excitement and anticipation. They had found something truly special, a love that had blossomed on a train ride and grown into a deep, unbreakable bond. Their journey was far from over, and they were ready to face it together, wherever it might lead.